Jesus says, I was there, carrying you. I was calling you to come out. I was in mystery and miracle, as close to you as a breath, outside of time and expectation. I delivered you from the pain, alive in Christ. Outside the box, I changed your mind, softened your heart, I awoke your spirit and your soul. I brought the pieces of your brokenness into a joyful whole. Outside of time and expectation, I delivered you from the pain, alive in Christ, free to breathe, free to act, respond to needs, anxious to serve, to seek the joy, the daily gift of life outside the box. Outside the box. Hi, this is Mike the Gospel Guy, coming to you from Studio R and St. Paul Evangelical Lutheran Church in Warwick, Rhode Island, with your Lenten Devotional for week 4. We're now reading into the Lord's Prayer, and of course you know that the Lord's Prayer is a corporate prayer. It's about the body, the physical body, the spiritual body, the body of believers. It's a prayer between us and Almighty God. Martin Luther says in the petition, "Give us this day our daily bread," we say that not because we need to remind God to provide for us, but to make ourselves aware of all that God gives us, how God meets our needs and the needs of those around us. It's the us that's important as we ponder how we might individually or as a church body respond to the physical and spiritual needs, the hunger that is around us. We learn early on in life that sharing does not always come easy. But once we discover that sharing is a great way to meet people, to make friends, to enjoy life, to make a positive difference in the world around us, it does get a little easier to make it part of your lifestyle. Let me tell you a story about Emil Freine. He was a member of our congregation, our Lutheran congregation, when I lived in Michigan back in the late 1970s. Emil was a soldier in the German army. He was in World War II. He was captured, and he spent 4 years in Siberia. At the end of the war, the Russians opened the gates, pointed to the west, and said, "Germany's that way." And so Emil and his comrades made the beginning of the long journey home. On the way, he was traveling with 3 other companions, and they had 1 crust of bread between the 4 of them. So Emil took out a knife and began to cut very carefully, all eyes were on him, the piece of bread into 4 parts, when somebody else walked into the room and said, "If you'll give me half of your quarter of bread, I'll have my dad, who's a tailor, make you a new suit of clothes when we get back to Germany." So Emil cut his quarter of the piece of bread in half and gave half to the person who had just arrived. Now that's giving under the most extreme circumstances. It's giving in a way where he understood that God does provide for our daily needs so that we can provide for others. That's worth thinking about in this Lenten time. This is Mike the Gospel Guy, reminding you that God gives us joy for the journey and strength for each day.